Have you had the experience of riding down the highway somewhere and seeing a beautiful home, well taken care of, expansive, elaborate in its design, and think, I'd sure love to live in a place like that? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with day number 3 of the Torah portion, Vayakol. Let's go to chapter number 36 of Exodus, or Shemot, and begin reading with verse number 1. Bezalel and Oholiab, and every wise-hearted man in whom Yahweh had given wisdom and understanding to know how to do all the work for the service of the set-apart place, shall do according to all that Yahweh has commanded. And Moshe called Bezalel and Oholiab, and every wise-hearted man in whose heart Yahweh had given wisdom, everyone whose heart lifted him up, to come and to do the work. They received from Moshe all the contribution which the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of the making of the set-apart place, but they still brought to him the voluntary offerings every morning. So all the craftsmen who were doing all the work of the set-apart place came, each one from the work that he was doing, and they spoke to Moshe, saying, The people bring much more than enough for the service of the work which Yahweh has commanded us to do. So Moshe had to tell them, that's enough, guys. That's enough. Beautiful homes. We see them everywhere. Some people live, as Laura and I do, in a pretty simple home, a 3-bedroom rancher, small plot of land, living in someone's neighborhood. Nothing spectacular, just simple by design, but effective, comfortable, and we're very, very thankful for it. Others I know have beautiful multi-storied homes, manicured lawns, elaborate in their design, well decorated on the inside. Wonderful, beautiful. And we all think, I kind of like to move up, step up, get something a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Bigger seems to always be better until you have to take care of it. So the house of Yah, exactly how big was it and how elaborate was it going to be? Well, all appearances on the outside, it wasn't anything more than just a simple tent. On the inside, however, it was spectacular. The dazzling array of gold and light and incense and beautiful aromas. The presence of Yah shining gloriously, emanating from between the 2 cherubim. It was an amazing, amazing structure, but it was a tent. The tent was to reflect the mobile status, the nomadic status of Israel at this given point. And so as Israel is moving forward now, the 40 years in front of them through the wilderness, we find then that the tent needs to be mobile as well. Yah's presence needs to move because Israel has to move. The same tent structure was set up once they got into the land at Shiloh, and there it remained for 369 years. Once that tent was moved, things began to change. The Ark of the Covenant had some curious journeys, even down to the land of the Philistines and back. And King David wanted a more permanent structure, something more elaborate for the Ark of the Covenant, the very sense of Yah's presence in Israel. So during his days, the ark was again housed in a tent, but it wasn't exactly the same. There was the brazen altar outside, but this tent focused mostly on worship, with singers and musicians playing constantly, worshiping, adoring. The ark was housed in the tent. The people didn't see it, but they were given close proximity to it. This reflects the understanding of the Millennial Kingdom, the time where the Son of David, Yeshua the Messiah, will rule and reign upon the earth, and we will be granted close access to his presence with worship, with adoration. There will be a similitude of David's tent, the following fallen tabernacle of David will be raised back up again. And for that we can be thankful. In Shemot, or Solomon's day, things changed dramatically. What David wanted to build all along, his son Shemot was allowed to build. A super elaborate temple, massive in its structure, exact in its structure, very refined architecture, even by today's standards, covered and overlain with gold. Instead of one menorah, there were 10 menorahs on the inside. Not only were there 2 cherubim positioned over the Ark of the Covenant, but 2 giant cherubim stood on one on either side and guarded over the Ark of the Covenant. Elaborate courtyards, everything was ramped up to a massive, massive scale. And so we see then in Shemot's day that this massive structure, grandiose in its design, revealed Yeshua as King of all the earth. In the mobile, nomadic structure of the wilderness, Yeshua is moving among his people. In David's day, Yeshua is close, approachable, tangible, experienced personally. In Shemot's temple, he's King of the earth. He rules and reigns forever. The third temple, however, was a little different still. Once Yehuda came out of Babylon, and there was the reconstruction of the temple. It was inferior in almost every aspect. And the realization was the ark was not in it. But they built a temple, they worshiped at the temple, and many who had seen the previous temple cried. They cried that something was being built, but they also wept for what was before. Herod came along and refined, remodeled, restructured, elaborately built up what's known then as the Second Temple, at least the Herod edition of it. And it was grandiose, it was beautiful to look at, but it failed in comparison to what Shemot had done. Again, the secret that was not well known perhaps was that the ark was not found on the inside. Here, Yeshua says that it's whitewashed on the outside, but full of dead men's bones on the inside. At least that's the overall tenor. It's not that Yah's presence wasn't there. Yeshua came in and he cleansed the temple. He defended the temple. He worshiped at the temple. But the attitude that went along with that temple in many respects was not that which was righteous nor appealing to the Most High. And sadly, that temple also, like Shemot's, was destroyed. Currently, we have a modular temple in waiting. From all reports that I personally have received and read and studied about, the artifacts are constructed, and the building of a new temple can go up very, very quickly. This is going to be a seize the moment while it's available temple, in my estimation. We know from the book of Daniel that the anti-Mashiach is going to cause the operation of this temple to cease. So it's going to go up. It's going to be functional. There's going to be a priesthood offering, the offerings before Yah. There's going to be worship there. It's not going to endure. It's going to be temporary. But it is a sign that Messiah is coming. When that temple goes up, don't speak against it. Rejoice, even though it's temporary, because Messiah is coming. And finally, we're going to have the Messiah temple. In the days of Yeshua, there will be the permanent structure, far more glorious, filled with the splendor of the Most High, and it's going to be something beyond our imaginations. Which leads me now to this temple. How grandiose is your design? What is its architecture? What does it reflect about you? What does it say about you? And have you spent so much on it in your time, in your estimation, and your personal preparation that nothing else can be added? Or do you need to give a little more? Think about this, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.